And we came from that way, so really he's got all of this to explore. I don't know where he's going.
Well, I'm off on an overnight adventure, and my family's dropping me off. I think they're glad to get rid of me.
We're gonna get rid of Rick.
Thanks a lot.
We got Nikki.
Hello.
And we got Beckley.
Hi.
Oops. Rough road. And we're not even out there yet.
We're still in town.
Why do I get the feeling that you guys are anxious to drop me off?
Because we're gonna party with Mom after.
I thought so.
Yeah, why did we all come with? That's why. That's why we have plans.
Okay, we're heading out to the drop-off spot. It's called the North Shore Trail, right?
Yeah, the dump-off spot where I get dumped.
You get dumped.
After how many years, Rick finally gets dumped.
By 3 women all at once. And there's not going to be rattlesnakes yet, Dad, are there?
Yeah.
Oh.
The first rattlesnake I ever saw in Montana was on the Dearborn River, and it was 42 degrees.
Huh.
That was the outside temperature.
That's pretty cold, right, for them to be out?
Yeah, it is. And he was trying to bite my dog.
Huh.
Okay, I'm going to lift the back tire out and pivot it around. You can just balance that, okay?
Well, that's an easy way to get it out.
Easy.
I just discovered that recently. It works way better than what I was used to do. I used to lift the whole bike up all at once.
You're getting your stuff out. See how the panniers work.
Is it just top clip goes on and then?
Oh, it's got a bottom one. If you can, I'll get it. I've never had that one on yet, so. There we go.
I'm walking. Woo.
You feel pretty good?
Yes. Watch me run.
Well, I'm out of here.
Well, did you remember stuff for a flat tire?
I got it, yeah. I had a flat last time I was in here.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
Did you bring cigars?
I did bring a cigar.
Ground cloth?
I got a ground cloth, yeah.
Food?
Yes.
Enough water?
Yes. I think I'm good.
Oh, snake shot?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's smart.
Although I hope I don't have to shoot any snakes.
Yeah, that's for them.
It would have to be blocking me from getting out of my tent.
And remember, the grizzlies are out, so if you hear any strange noises...
Cry like a baby?
Yeah, what do
Yes.
you do? Go into the fetal position and just cry like a baby.
Well, I'm walking up this hill here to check out a possible stealth camping spot. See what it looks like. Well, it's almost perfect. Not quite out of sight enough. And the hill is really steep getting up here. I couldn't get the bike up here. I'll look around for some other spot. This is state land. And I do have a state land recreational use permit for my state, Montana. And it doesn't say that you can't camp on state land. And I couldn't find anything on this particular area, but there's no signs of anyone having ever camped in here either. I've been in here before. There's no fire rings, no campsites, no anything. And the only way to get in here is by bike or by walking. You can't get a motorized vehicle in here. So I just as soon camp where I can't be seen, just to avoid any confrontations. We were serious about the rattlesnakes. This area is so snaky, it isn't even funny. There are areas that are worse than others. And I haven't seen any so far today, but that doesn't mean a thing. It's a nice day. It's 72 degrees. Loving that. And tonight's not going to be too cold, getting down to about 40 or so. The thing is, if you're camping out here, I'd really rather be in a tent that zips up to keep any creepy crawlies from getting inside. If you're camping in the mountains, I don't suggest using a tent at all. You should be hard-sided because pretty much everywhere now has black bear and grizzly bear. And camping in a tent just isn't safe enough in my book. There's people that do it, but no, I don't think I would want to do that. In my younger days I did, but the bears weren't as prevalent back then either, so I'd just rather be safe, and if I go into the mountains to camp, it's going to be in the trailer. Well, I just got back from checking out that cut up there. That's even more perfect. You can be totally out of sight up there. But once again, I can't find a way into it, and the hill is really steep going up there, so I don't want to have to coax the bike up that hill. So I'll keep looking. But maybe at a later date, if I find a way in there from maybe from the backside or something, that might work out. There is a road that passes through this area, but it's only open to the power company workers. It's got a gate on it. Only, like I said, only hikers and bikers can get in here. Well, I did spot this little coulee here. Thought I'd go back in and take a quick look. It winds back in there. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow, maybe sooner, so I don't want to be camped in a serious wash. Most of the rain's supposed to hit tomorrow afternoon, though. Oh, look at this. Isn't this interesting? Well, there's a big skeleton up here. Hope it's not a person. No, it's a big animal. It could be deer. If it is, it was a big buck. I don't see any horns on it though, any antlers. Yeah, maybe deer. I think a deer. There's a lower jawbone here. Yeah, I think deer. Well, I got a little time left. I think I'll keep looking. Well, this place looks as beautiful and as uncomfortable as any. So I'm going to call this it for the night. It's a beautiful spot. But the ground is real rocky and unlevel, so I've got some work to do. Hey, I did find something interesting. Let me show it to you. This is black and red granite, and in Montana, I've learned that this is called the Genesis stone. This is the oldest rock that you can find in Montana. And let me tell you, I don't remember the figures. It's old. It is really, really old. The oldest layer in Montana, right here. The Genesis rock. Well, it's all set up, but I need some coffee. Well, I kind of rode a lot before I got here. Did a bunch of traveling and exploring. I had a great time. It's the first really nice day that we've had. And like I mentioned earlier, it's 72 degrees. There's a lot of people out roaming around, hiking and enjoying it. I guess people don't camp down through here because there's so many nice places to camp in Montana. But what I'm doing is using the bike mostly around town. I could have ridden here on the bike, but I just wanted to get Linda and the girls in and show you guys that Linda was up and around and doing great. I guess this spot is about 12 miles from my house. Not bad, huh? Well, I got some new gear since last week, or week before last. I bought a warmer sleeping bag, and it's not going to get that cold tonight, but I'm still glad I have it. I bought this 2-man tent. It's a Techman 2. I bought it off of Wayfair. Do not buy this tent. The design looked great, the price was right, and it's so poorly made. I mean, I just took it out of the wrapping and 2 grommets fell out. You know where the stakes go through in the corners? Well, 2 of those grommets just fell out by taking it out of the wrapping. And then one of the corners that the grommets goes in wasn't even sewed on. It was just kind of like a single thread. Really bad. Then I read in the in the instructions, it says that the fly is waterproof, but the seam around the bottom isn't, and you're going to need to buy some seam seal and seal that up. And I thought, oh great, I just bought a tent and I have to seal the floor to keep it from leaking. Then the last thing was it won't go back in the bag that it comes in. The nylon sack that it goes in, once you undo it, that's it. It will not go back in. So I had to find another nylon sack to put it in and kind of wrap it up. Don't buy a Techman 2. Well, needless to say, there won't be a campfire because it's really dry. This place would take off like a match. Well, what you see here is just exactly as Lewis and Clark would have seen it back in 1805 when they came through here. 1803 and 1805. It would have been exactly like this. The Missouri River sure is calm this evening. There's no wind. That's rare for Montana. I'm just cooking on a Trangia alcohol stove. These stoves work best with denatured alcohol, not rubbing alcohol. It's got too much water in it, but denatured alcohol. Or in the heat that you pour in your fuel tank, not the red one, but the yellow one is just pure denatured alcohol. The red one's got some fuel injector cleaners in it. I don't think you'd want to breathe that or be cooking with that. But the yellow heat, that's all right. Yeah, it looks about right. Oh yeah. Well, that's nice. Nothing like a cup of coffee to make you feel at home. Do you guys ever use this milk? This is organic, low-fat milk, and it keeps on the shelf for a long time without refrigeration. It's just kind of a neat thing to be able to throw in your pack or in your camping kit and take along, because you don't have to worry about it till you open it. Of course, it's such a small thing that once you open it, you just drink it. It doesn't taste bad in coffee. Powdered milk tastes bad in coffee. This doesn't taste bad. It's different, but it's not bad. It's called Horizon brand. I buy it at Walmart. A lot of stores carry this. And my gear's a mess right now, but the 2 panniers that I bought are working out really well. They're kind of all messed up. I got them all. The one on the left's got my sleeping gear, you know, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, tarps, things like that. The one on the right is just cooking, you know, little cooking stuff, little clothing, things like that. But they keep the weight down low because I got the water down on the bottom, so that's a good thing. I can see that the tent has a real slant to it. Not too bad, but that's not good for sleeping. Well, I've had a very enjoyable evening, but now it's time to cook some dinner. Nothing super fancy. I'm just going to make a stew with a sausage in it. Problem with cutting up carrots is they like to roll off the cutting board. Maybe if I cut it sideways first. Yeah, that'll do it. And a potato. Some sweet onion. I love sweet onions. Sausage. Some beef stew mix. I think I won't put it all in. Throw some water in on top of that. That ought to do it. I think I'm going to have to let it cool down a little bit before I can eat it though. All right. I can hear the coyotes howling. 2 weeks ago when I camped out here on the river and it was so cold, but it was the first time that I heard coyotes howl. And then I heard them howling again in the middle of the night, and I've never heard that before. Usually they only howl just to gather at the beginning of the night. You don't hear them after that. But that night I heard them a couple of times. Well, I brought along a dessert. You know those dessert breads that you buy in a box? What are they, Pantones or something like that? I found these little ones. They're about the size of a muffin. So I'm going to have that for dessert. Hey, first of all, I wanted to show you something. Wait, here we go. This is a book. I've had it for a long time. It's called Getting a Stand by Miles Gilbert. And you can see the, maybe you can see the buffalo hunter there on the cover. And this is a book about the buffalo hunters. And it's one of many that I have in my collection. I've always been really interested in the mountain man fur trapper era. You know, starting in the around 1808, or no, it actually started when Lewis and Clark got back. When they were going down the river in 1806, there was already trappers that had already caught word, and they were heading up the Missouri River from St. Louis. That's where John Coulter, who was traveling with, who was one of Lewis and Clark's men, before he even got back to St. Louis, he met those trappers coming back up the river. And he got permission to leave, and he joined those trappers and went right back again. After being gone for 3 years, he went right back again because of what he had seen. And his escapades, that's a story in itself. But those men, I mean, going out into the wilderness with just what they had on their horse and, you know, and in their packs, and going out into the unknown, and they were fur trappers at the time. Well, then later on in the 1870s about was the buffalo hunting era. It doesn't matter what you think about that, it's just part of history. They did what they did, and they went out and killed buffalo for profit because the pelts were worth so much. And their stories, though, are what are just incredible, especially the stories of survival. I read of one man who got caught out in a blizzard, and I'm going to tell you 3 blizzard stories here. One man that got caught out, and by the way, I say men, these were teenagers to early 20s. That's how old they were. Usually when they went out and hunted, there was a shooter, and then there was the ones that did the dressing, you know, that they only took what meat they could eat, but basically they skinned these buffalo and let them lay. But there was a shooter that would shoot as many as he could, and then the skinners would come along behind. So it was a team effort. But one buffalo hunter I read about you see, they would shoot the buffalo and move on, shoot and move on, shoot and move on, and the rest of the team would stay back and do the finish work. Well, one buffalo hunter I read about got caught out in a blizzard, and it was a matter of survival, and he actually gutted a buffalo and crawled up inside the warm carcass, and he survived that way. Can you imagine? Another one I read about in Montana, I believe, he got caught out alone because they were usually shooting alone. Another blizzard, and Montana can blizzard, I'll tell you. And he tried to, of course, he couldn't, you can't see. So he didn't have, you know, when you get the whiteout conditions and there's no mountains around out in eastern Montana where he was, no mountains at all. So you're totally lost. And he was trying to find his way back to their camp and and he came across a hot spring, and basically it was all iced over from all the mist, and it formed kind of a tunnel, and he crawled in and laid next to this hot spring. He woke up covered in rattlesnakes because the rattlesnakes like the hot spring too. And luckily he didn't get bit. He managed to somehow get out and make his way back. What a story. There's another story in here that's pretty interesting. It's the same thing, kind of. This one again in southeast Montana, where the hunter had gotten out ahead of the team and they were trying to avoid the Indians at the same time because they knew there was a huge group of Indians in the area, large group, and they were trying not to run into those Indians. Well, he got caught out alone, and he couldn't tell directions. He didn't know which way was north, south, east, or west, and he was trying to find his way back. No tracks or anything because of the heavy snow that was falling, and he could barely see. In fact, in the story, he talks about constantly having to wipe his eyes because of all the heavy snow. He was afraid that he had gone too far past his camp. I got ahead of myself here. Before, they had actually set up camp, and they had built a dugout. A dugout is where you dig into like a river embankment. You kind of hollow it out, and you close off the front, and you can live inside. You know, they can camp inside. It was their form of a shelter. It was basically they had made their own cave. Well, he was trying to find his way back to that dugout. He heard, through the snow, the heavy snow and everything, he heard voices. And he saw an orange glow in this falling snow. And he was afraid that he had come up on the Indian camp, and he was creeping forward really slowly. And there was a hole in the ground with an orange glow coming up, and he ran away from it. He had scared him to death. He thought it was some kind of magic or something, and he ran away. And then his curiosity got the best of him, and he crawled up slowly again, and he cocked his rifle, and he was crawling up slowly. And he looked down through this hole in the ground into his own dugout with his two buddies down inside chatting. Anyways, getting a stand. If you're at all interested in this thing, this book, I don't know, this is an old edition here, and I don't know if you can still find these, but it'd be worth looking for it on Amazon. It's a series of stories of the buffalo hunters of the era. I think you might enjoy it. Hey, I'm going to eat this dessert, and then I'm going to crawl into the sack and see if I can get some sleep on this bumpy, lumpy ground. See you in the morning. Well, it's starting out as a beautiful morning. I didn't expect to see sunshine at all this morning, although it's coming through some clouds, but it is clouding up and it's supposed to rain, so starting in a couple more hours. So I think I'll just journey on home here as quick as I can. Coffee first. I didn't sleep too bad. I kept sliding down to the bottom of the tent. There was nothing I could do to stop me from sliding, but I just gave up and, and slept all right. It was okay. It was okay. Yeah, it's pretty out. I'm glad I'm here. Well, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's about time for me to get Linda out, and she's about ready to go. So we're going to be taking the trailer and going somewhere, probably in the next week or so. Hey, if you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you around.